Hello, interwebs, and welcome to the 8th episode of Conspiracy Synergy. I'm your host, T. Snyder, and as always, thank you for tuning in and for taking the time to delve into relevant controversy and real-world conspiracy. Not theory. There is no conspiracy theory going on in this show. There is instead a vast expanse of forensic historical research, all kinds of whistleblowers and documents throughout time that collectively stack up to comprise the situation that we're able to put in front of our eyes. We can look at this and read it and understand it for ourselves. And when we do that, we're able to accomplish something truly incredible. We're able to change our freaking minds. And when that happens, we act very differently in external reality. That's how this works. We're able to, and then, oh yeah. So that's what we're trying to help encourage other people to do too, because then you can enlighten the world. You can brighten each other's day. And seeing that kind of peace on this earth manifest, well, not only is it possible, the more that we work towards it, it increasingly becomes inevitable. So on today's episode of Conspiracy Synergy, we're going to be helping everybody realize real revolution in the core of their being by going through a step-by-step sequence of illustrations within a puppet-filled video game called The Plan to Save the World. Okay, so this is like the character select screen. You're kind of just stuck being the person you are in real life already. Sorry, blame your parents for that one, not me. But ultimately, the thing to remember about playing life successfully is that it's more about how you equip ideas and loot. Our ideas are like enchanted gems, giving us powers, or plaguing us with fears. The gear you wear or the stuff you carry does the same thing. It can either help you or slow you down and potentially keep you from accomplishing anything at all. So you got to be careful the things that you equip, And the same thing with what you're carrying around. You got to be careful how you use that in order to be able to get to other places. So here we go. We're going out into the world as a magical puppet creature thing. Here we are. Yeah. Cool. All right, where are we going? What are we doing? All right. So we want to get the townsfolk to revolution, but there are a variety of different kind of mini games and things that we got to go through in order to be able to accomplish that step. So we got to get ourselves out of Plato's cave, and then from there, after that, it's this is the full world map. Then we got to go and make new friends. Then, after we make new friends, we got to help start a revolution with them. And then we're going to improve all of our communities. And by improving community, we're going to create new currencies. And by creating new currencies, we're going to change the current of history so that we're able to save the world together by revolutionizing our culture. So that's the map of everything that we're going to be doing today, and that's the trajectory that we're going to take to save the world. And this is how it works. This is how saving the world works. So strap in, everybody. Let's go talk to ourselves to get ourselves out of our cells. Plato's cave is not as much a constraint once you understand that you're in it. And that it's a perpetual process of learning that allows you come to escape it. The more in which you listen to other people who are amazing at being able to bring you that information, like other members of the alternative media that are out there just hitting it out of the park, as we increasingly tune into the people who are aware of what's out there, well, as we do that, we're able to become more aware, and then we're able to get there faster. And that's going on the entire game. Never goes away. At each individual stage later on, we're still going to be leveling up our own understanding. Sometimes it hurts figuring out how to get to the truth from inside labyrinths of lies. Our feelings can either help us or hurt us in our path of discovering the truth. And that's why a lot of people don't want to move. Okay, so once we're out of there and we've opened up our minds to one of many new doors of incredible ways of understanding the incredible world around us, once we do that, we then move along to the second stage of us all co-creating real world revolution together by making new friends. In the classic book, How to Make Friends and Influence People, the top pieces of advice given right off the bat are remember people's names, ask questions about them, genuinely be interested in who they are, and don't criticize other people. That's good advice for all of us to remember when we're out in the real world talking calmly and politely with the townsfolk. There is a certain finesse to inspiring other people to get off their ass. So here goes. Let's try having a human conversation. Hello, townsfolk Paul. You sure are attractive and nice and smart, and I like you because you're so great. Say, would you like to have a revolution with me? I would love to. There you go, folks. It's just that simple to get other people to revolution with you. It's called dressing fancy and asking nicely. The more each of us finds different ways to incentivize other people and ourselves, the more all of us will simply want to come together and take the next step of real revolution. Neighborhood revolution parties. Okay, so this next little segment is kind of like the equivalent of a revolution themed Mario Party, like Fallout post-apocalyptic hybrid game kind of thingy. Okay, it's just a bunch of different conceptual mini games that can be played by communities in order to maintain our sovereignty. It is the next level of revolution after all of us making new friends, creating communities of friends together who creatively pool their friendship circles to form functional, non-shitty communities with people who actually like each other and care about each other and stuff. That's the second phase of real revolution. It's kind of like what Jesus was talking about. That's the optimal Optimus Prime level of our revolutionary spirit. Paul channeling Jesus levels of niceness. That's what we're going for on a community level of revolution. Unlike the soul-sucking death trap that was corporate monopoly, Revolution Party gives people the chance to remove the stranglehold that money and labels once had on our lives and instead share various responsibilities and unlock a brighter future for everybody. First up are freedom cells, which are a way to form groups of friends with a bunch of different super handy skill sets who then watch each other's backs and help each other in real life, moving forward in whatever their own particular quests happen to be. Next up is homesteading, which is the process of turning our homes into self-sufficient gardens, just like we used to do in old times. During the Second World War, 40% of fruits and vegetables came from what were called victory gardens. People growing and knowing how to grow food helped save the day. Farmers markets and community garden projects are yet another way of connecting our local food supply chains and help people trade goods and services directly with one another. It's just like Farmville or Township, only you make real-life friendships. Soapboxing is using all kinds of art and expression to grab the mic and bring attention to the truth. anyone can do it in any number of different ways. Volunteer groups can take any number of different forms as well to help solve any number of different problems. It's up to us, not someone else, to be creative in how we go about solving them. Door-to-door outreach campaigns, including community watch-alongs, helps everyone disseminate all of our various opinions to our neighbors and bypass big tech censorship. They can't stop us if we talk to each other in real life, listen to each other intently, and deeply investigate reality as a community. Neighborhood libraries make books cool again, and much, much more. Neighborhood Revolution Party is a way of re-envisioning everything you can dream of or imagine that might help us move forward in a better direction, as long as you and your group of friends finds the courage to go out there in the real world and volunteer. That's what allows us as communities to level up and reach the next tier of revolution. But remember, any healthy society is a voluntary society that we all consent to. So if you just don't want to deal with other people and you don't want to be a part of this whole revolutionary thing, you do not have to participate if you don't want to. But those who do foster the creation of a brand new currency. One in which we can invest in one another as human beings, not in mainstream institutions. Now, what is this magical and miraculous new form of investing directly in one another, you ask? How can we invest our energy now in saving the world and know that our investment will help everybody's families moving into the future? It's called altruism. Friends doing favors for friends and neighbors giving help to each other earns you altruism points in your community. I'm literally just describing the fabric of any functional society that shares responsibility in all of human history. That's what our altruism is. Our desire to help one another selflessly in our communities is what makes life better for everybody. So extending that idea into the realm of how we think of our currency is a simple way for us to envision interacting very, very differently. And this process of us all finding creative ways that we personally want to work more effectively, directly with one another only gets more powerful as these many different models come to interconnect communities across the world. That's ultimately what's most important to bear in mind with these many little examples. Now, the problem with self-sufficient oasis communities is that literally the second that a community or a group of friends becomes self-sufficient, loving, and prosperous like this, the motherfucking government or dystopian tyrant of any given time period will show up and decide to tax, regulate, propagandize, and control the ever-loving shit out of everybody. That's what happens. Reliably. Monopoly-oriented establishment mindsets do not want anybody to play any other way than the way they say everyone has to play. And if anyone tries to get away, mercenaries come to collect. Historically, 3 overlapping evil forces use these tactics of moving in on sovereign communities reliably in a way that we as people have to be prepared for their inevitability. Barbarians, monarchies, and mafias. And the more you understand the sort of like Pokemon evolution of our governments, the more you understand any place on this earth that already has a government has already been overrun by barbarians at some point, who have already installed a monarchy, which has subsequently become some sort of government, in order to, over time, create vast systems of criminality. It starts with one phase, and then it poke evolves until it's monstrously depraved. Okay, hold on. Like, what in the actual fuck am I talking about here, right? Because, like, if I graduated 6th grade state indoctrination camp correctly, which I'm pretty sure I might have, then I should already be aware that governments are the benevolent forces of good that safeguard citizens from barbarians. Governments are the righteous bestowers of virtuous monarchies, and governments are the arbiters of all that is nice and good, who create laws to stop organized crime, right? So why am I saying that government is itself the exact opposite of the good guys, and that all governments are in fact lineages of barbarians, monarchies, and mafias? Like, what am I talking about here? Well, the idea that all governments are actually oppressing us, that can be difficult to conceive of until you think about it very simply and return to the basics. Say you only have 2 people on the entire planet. Just 2. And then one day, one of those people gets the idea that they're the government. And because they're the government, that means that the other person has to do what they say. Is that moral? Does that shit make any sense? No, of course not. Friends who are friends and not predatory psychopaths should be able to live together like that, even if they just want to be left the fuck alone and not bother anyone, just like our successful communities did. Well, too bad, townsfolk. The government decides otherwise. And this same basic premise can be repeated over and over and over and over and over and over again with any size of civilization. And you know what? No matter what number of people you have on the planet, this very broken way of conceiving of forced community is always immoral. And it always has been. For any one person or group of people to believe that they have special rights that they can use to take away the rights from other non-consenting people, that's completely immoral. That's mob rule. They just hide the idea behind the premise that we vote for them, but we never have a choice not to have any government. And because of that, it's always someone ruling over everyone, whether they consent to it or not. But wait, again, hold on. Like, isn't the mafia something criminal that the government is supposed to fight against? Well, unfortunately, the reality in real life is that since the late 1930s, they have more or less become synonymous with one another. They just have different layers and levels of compartmentalization and clearance in order to understand this. And all over the world, this has already happened. They merged. There was like a merger between the worlds of organized crime and the intelligence apparatuses on a global scale. And in the same way that barbarians create an environment that then brings on a monarchy, the very existence of any government, any group of people who feel that they have special rights over and privileges over the sovereign rights of other people, that process inherently creates a framework that proliferates organized crime. The mafia is the government. Government is organized crime. There is no separation between the two. These things are not separate from one another. Instead, they are all deeply intertwined inevitabilities contained inside of massive superstructures that facilitate and feed off of one another energetically. Now, I know how difficult this concept can be for people who have never realized just how deeply corrupt and interconnected these various systems are, and always have been. Whenever a government is in power, it doesn't ultimately stop the most heinous crime rings. Instead, historically speaking, it replaces them. It makes corrupt deals with them, and on a certain level, it directly oversees them, both domestically and internationally. These things do not happen without the oversight of organized crime cartels. On another compartmentalized level, overseeing crime, that's how it really works. Now, because of the fluid continuity that exists in every single country as a byproduct of the fusion between this unholy trinity, united against people who just want to live freely. Well, because of this, the most poisonous and pervasive organized crime rings of all, they are installed ubiquitously across all societies, completely invisibly, so that we do not see the true purpose of monetary policy. This is the greatest of all criminal enterprises hidden amongst us. Our machine-made currency. Corruption and criminality is hidden in the subtleties of how we do everything. This way, no matter what current mob of maniacal, monarchical, barbarian dipshits happens to be ruling everyone, no matter who the current leaders are, they are always indentured to whatever currency it is that people use. That's how the world really works behind the scenes. I mean, hell, like, even in the popular series Game of Thrones, it wasn't ultimately the Lannister family who always paid their debts who were in control of the Seven Kingdoms. Nope, it wasn't. It's like they were Ponzi's caught up in an age-old pyramid scheme. You know who the real seat of power in that show was? It was who the Lannisters got their gold from. The Iron Bank. That's how things work when you follow the threads that comprise vast criminal networks. Each of them are steps in a ladder that lead to the throne. And even then, the throne is itself merely a petty pillar compared to the real seat of power. Those who print our money out of thin air. This vast system of entraining and trapping everyone is akin to an invisible casino that our individual communities are all plugged into. And if we try to leave and live in peace and harmony together, criminal cabals will continue to demand their cut of the currency that they themselves foisted on everybody. It's a money game. Taxes are theft. Our currency is fiat, which is a Latin word that means let it be so. In other words, our money is created out of thin air and is completely worthless. It's only backed by the idea that its value is valuable, when really it's just invented out of nothing. And it's been this way since Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard. There is no difference between our currency and monopoly money. And this bizarrely etched line between a dominator society using fictional currency to enslave everybody and our would-be hopes to somehow harmonize the hearts of humanity, this distinction is utterly imperative for us to genuinely understand. in order to improve the world. Global revolution is all of us understanding that all of our issues as people are interconnected. Even if we improve our friendships and our communities on a local level, the corporate oligarchy will still want to make money off of us and will actively work to pilfer and sabotage us. And we all still work in tandem with the corporate world anyway. Like, even if we're helping each other around the block to make life easier for everybody, we still work inside the machine in whatever form it exists at any given time. So revolution can't just get off the ground, even on a grassroots level, without us also understanding how to make bigger moves on bigger levels. So how do we townsfolk, combat systemic issues like barbarian hordes descending on vulnerable populations, tyrannical systems of government ostensibly labeled as if somehow important, and corporately infused mafia monopolies that are all collectively working together to browbeat humanity in a never-ending Pokemon death arena of hypermasculinity? How in the ever-loving fuck do we, the townsfolk, topple all of that? Well, to inspire revolution on city levels, on the levels of countries and the entire world, we need to think much, much bigger. Because once you zoom out of the lens of viewing people as families, connected together through our communities, you venture into the lens of seeing people in much larger conglomerations. That's when people sort of fuse together in their collective expression of our culture. And that's the next level of our friendly revolution together, dissecting and correcting the very habits and symbols that are used to subconsciously direct the masses. And so, on the second part of this episode, that's what we're going to do. You, me, all the normies, and our new friendly puppet family are going to delve into the murky world of how we have all been molded culturally. And in doing so, we will somehow manage to break free from that mold and liberate all of humanity. So strap in, people. We're going. Okay, there is actually one more thing before we, two more things before we take off. Hey, yeah, that many. And the first one is the artwork for the show. Who is the extraordinarily sexy, sexalicious, incredibly awesome individual featured on this right here? Who is it? It's Charlie Robinson, obviously. Could also be like JC. You know, James Corbett, that hombre. Or it could be like Pete Quiñone. I don't know how to pronounce your name, man, but you're awesome. You host Free Man Beyond the Wall. And then there's other individuals. You know, honestly, a lot of us kind of look the same. Probably me in the future, too. But too soon. Okay. But the point is, the artwork is meant to demonstrate that all of us are pooling our resources together in order to be able to turn the Illuminati into calamari and have that be a bountiful feast for everybody. That's the idea. And we're going to do that together. It's called saving the world. So, what I'm going to be doing to demonstrate altruism on my part as an artist is I'm going to be putting all of my stuff up online so that people can simply donate and contribute in a way that helps me in order to be able to continue to give that art to everybody. So to support me for this show, pretty please do so. Oh my God, please. Thank you. Thanks very much. My name is Dees, Preacher of Peace. It's a pleasure to be on this rock with y'all. And I cannot wait until we manage to change the world for the better.